Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're all well wherever you are and whatever you're up to. Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2020 and also the first video that I've made since I had baby Solly as well. So yeah, I'm just sort of getting back on track with things again. And in this video, I wanted to share with you what our plans are going forward for the G&G Society, Sewing Society dressmaking kits for 2020. So those of you that are signed up to our mailing list for the kits would have received a link at the beginning of December with a little survey to just ask you some questions about the kits and your experience of using them as well. And you guys are really good. You send us feedback all the time, but because it's going to be something that I want to grow a bit more in 2020, then I wanted to give you guys a bit more of a sort of formal or like a structured way to get feedback from you and ask, you know, what you want to see, what you like about it, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to summarise what we found when we asked you those questions, and yeah, just what you can expect to see in the G&G Sewing Society monthly kits over the next year, basically. As always, the conversation is always open. You can always get in contact with us with more feedback or other questions or suggestions or anything. You can leave a comment on this video or you can email the shop as well. I'll leave the email address in the description of this video, or if you've been sent a link to the video, then you can reply to that email as well. But what I thought would be nice to do first of all is just kind of recap what the kits are, just in case you're watching this and you sort of aren't entirely sure what I'm talking about, basically. So back in April last year, 2019, we launched the G&G Sewing Society kits. Now, my experience of running the shop over the past 7 years and teaching workshops and speaking to you guys over social media as well, I know that it can be really overwhelming when you come to plan a dressmaking project and the pattern might suggest like 10 different types of fabric, or you sort of don't know where to start. That key thing of pairing a nice fabric with the pattern and getting it right can be overwhelming, and I know that it's something that a lot of you guys lack confidence in as well, which is totally understandable. You know, it can be a bit of a minefield, and when you know you're spending money and time making something, you want to know that it's right. So the whole kind of idea behind the kits was to take out that sort of uncertainty for you guys by pairing together a really beautiful fabric with a pattern, making it super easy for you to make it and give you the confidence to make it as well by getting you all of the notions and things that you need for that pattern, to bundling it up all together, and then just so you've got that bit of extra support. When you get one of our Sewing Society dressmaking kits, you also get exclusive access to a video that is made by me, and it is lots of tips and tricks and a bit more in-depth guidance to the instructions that come with the pattern as well. So it should hopefully give you the confidence just to try something that's maybe a little bit more challenging that you haven't done before, like a new fabric or a new style or a new technique. So the kits go on sale on the first Wednesday of each month, and they get released to those who are signed up to our newsletter and have also crucially opted in to hear about the G&G Sewing Society as well. So they get to hear about them on the Wednesday, and then I start sharing it on social media on the Thursday, and the kits are on sale until the following Sunday. So that's the sort of sale period for them. And then once we know how many kits we've sold, we then assemble them all the following week, and then we post them out to you the next week. So they go on sale at midday on the Wednesday, and we email out a link to them as well. And the reason that they go out at midday, get asked a lot of questions about this, because I can appreciate that obviously it's a Wednesday and a lot of people are at work, but because it generates a lot of additional traffic to our website, it's something that the team have to monitor quite closely. We have to make sure sort of everything's running smoothly, that if people have issues or questions or problems or anything, that we can respond to them immediately and kind of deal with that. Now, at the moment, the scale that this sort of kind of sub-project of G&G business is, it's not really viable as like a sort of standalone thing. It's like an additional thing that we do as part of running the shop. So we just have the resources of our current team, basically. So we have to kind of manage it when the team are here to do that, which is why they go out at midday. Now, a lot of you I know are disappointed when you then come to get your email in the evening and they've already sold out, and I'm really sorry about that. Literally, it's been very hard to anticipate the huge positive response that we've had to these kits, and I know it's frustrating when they sell out really quickly for you guys when you want to get one, and that is something that we are hoping to change this year by investing much more into the project and making a lot more kits. So the way that it works is that we kind of estimate the number of kits that we think we're going to sell, which is quite hard because it's been like a new thing and every month it's a different project or different fabric and we're not sure how popular it's going to be. So we try to kind of like estimate or sort of judge it, and then we have to get all of the supplies together to make that set number of kits. Now we only assemble the number of kits that are actually sold, but we have to purchase all of the supplies that are for that number of kits. Now the reason we have to sort of do it kind of beforehand is that quite often there's maybe like 4 or 5 different suppliers that are involved. That's for all the components of the kit to get it together, and that takes quite a lot of coordination because you're relying on 4 or 5 different suppliers to send you the quantity of things that you need by a specific time as well. And sometimes it can actually take up to 2 months of kind of liaising with lots of different people and lining all up to make sure that all of the supplies are here at the right time. So that's why we have to sort of make the sale limited to a specific number of kits. So yeah, as I said, going into 2020 now, we are going to be just investing more basically, and hopefully dealing with the demand that the kits have had. So it means that those of you who want to purchase it in the evening or the next again day or whatever, that there'll still be kits available for you then. So the next kind of thing that I wanted to sort of address or kind of answer is that a lot of you guys have given us feedback about the price point of the kits, and that you know, you might want to see different kind of price points within that. So when it comes to price points, the way that we sort of try to work it out is we make it as fair as possible and try to get as best value for money as we can for you guys that is reflective of the components of the kits. So all of the kits have the branded Prim haberdashery, which is really good quality haberdashery, but obviously that comes with it being a bit more expensive. We also have Gutermann threads. That's a really good strong branded thread. It's the only thread that I use, and then the fabric is really high quality. It's natural fibres, or a high percentage of natural fibres within the fabric, or it's designer as well. So that's kind of reflected within the price point too. And then also to support the kits, I mentioned before about the video, is that we also make up a sample of the specific fabric that's in the kit and that pattern, and that's kind of part of the video and part of what you get to see when you're purchasing the kit as well. So we sort of have to take into account the kind of time and resources of that as well. So depending on the complexity of the garment, it can sometimes take me between maybe about 3 to 6 days to be making up all of the samples and filming that as I do it, and then making the video and sort of editing all of that as well. So there are those kind of additional components that are part of the kit, which is part of the reason why the video is exclusive to the kit, because that's like part of the kind of added value that you get when you're purchasing the kits. But on the whole, we usually make the kit around, as on average, about 5% cheaper than buying the same quantity and type of products individually from our shop as purchasing the kit. So it does work out a little bit cheaper. Then kind of linked to that, we do also get asked a lot about whether the kit could be available without the pattern or not. Now the way that our website can sort of logistically deal with that at the moment is a little bit limited, and it's difficult to offer that option without kind of pre-setting like a specific number of kits that are available with the pattern and a specific number of kits that are available without, and getting that balance right can be hard. But a way to get around it, what we're going to do to begin with, sort of trial it and see how it works, is that we will offer a pattern substitution option. So say it's a kit that includes a closet case files pattern, and then you've already got that pattern, so but you want the other things that are within the kit, then you can still get the kit, but you can substitute it out for another closet case patterns instead. Or the same if it's like a Tilly and the Buttons pattern and you've already got that one, you can switch it out for another Tilly and the Buttons pattern. So hopefully that will sort of get around you having any duplicate patterns. You can still have the kit. But just to kind of explain a bit more of the background of that, because I mentioned about the limitations of the website in terms of dealing with altering like the quantities or components of the kit, I have had to quite heavily invest in the back end of the website at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and basically had to get it totally rebuilt again and kind of redesigned so that it can deal with just advancing technology basically. So the front of the website will still sort of more or less look the same, but the logistics that are behind it that sort of push that out into the world is going to be much better. So I'm hoping that there'll be more scope to do other things in terms of the software that the website has going forward. But yeah, at the moment it will be that pattern substitution option that we kind of have for those of you that already own the pattern. So those of you that responded to our survey sort of graded yourselves as a confident beginner or a more intermediate level. Most people were sort of in that bracket, and that you were looking for a bit more of an immersive or sort of challenging project, and the video really supports that. So what I plan to do going forward for the new kits is that the video will obviously continue, but it's just going to be a bit more in depth. So in the past I've always said that the video should be used really like just as a little sort of addition to the instructions that come with the pattern, but I'm going to be going into much more detail in the videos and giving you much more sort of help and support in terms of showing you what certain stages of the instructions look like as well, and what it'll actually look like to you when you're sewing them too. So hopefully those of you that are just lacking a little bit more confidence or aren't quite as sure will get that sort of extra benefit from the video. We also get asked a lot if the video is available to those of you that don't get the kits. Now, because it's sort of part of the kind of value package of the kit, in the past we've always just said no, it's, you know, it is exclusive to those of you that purchase the kits. But what we're going to be able to offer this year going forward is that if you didn't want to get the kit but you do already have the pattern and you've got some fabric at home already, is that you could buy access to the video separately for a small amount of money, and then you could still sort of benefit from that additional help and support. So hopefully that option will be useful for some of you guys as well. Then we also asked a question in the survey about size range and what size you guys typically make when you sew up a pattern, and we got a whole range of different sizes. I would say that it was a fairly even spread, to be honest, across all of the different size ranges. Now, because we always include a pattern in the kits that is from an independent pattern company, so they're not our patterns that are in the kits, they're just ones that we stock in the shop. The good news is that a lot of them are extending their size range going into 2020 and forward as well. Grainline have done it, Closet Case Patterns have done it, Tilly and the Buttons is done it as well. They're just ones that I'm sort of remembering off the top of my head. So going forward we'll be able to sort of have more scope in terms of size ranges that the kits cover. We always include enough fabric in the kit to make the largest size of the pattern that's available. If there's quite a big discrepancy between the fabric amount that you need for the sizes at one end of the spectrum compared to the other, then we have on occasion sort of split it. So we'll have some kits that include a certain amount of fabric and some kits that include another. So it just sort of depends on what the fabric recommendations are. We also get asked a lot about the length of the fabric that's included as well. So say if someone wants to make a different variation of it, or like lengthen a garment, for example, can they add on more fabric? Again, the sort of logistics of the website are just a bit limited in terms of being able to cope with that. But as I mentioned before, with the new software that's going to be running the website, I'm hoping that that's something that we'll be able to offer more flexibility in future kits too. In the survey, we also asked you about the style and type of garment that you'd like to see, and we received lots and lots of different responses covering a whole range. So just expect to see a really nice mix and variety of different types of garments in terms of sort of smart or casual, and then expect to also see a bit more of a broader colour palette as well in terms of the choice of colours of fabric for each kit. So I think that's everything that I wanted to sort of summarise for you. I want to just say a huge thank you again for supporting this kind of little side project on our business. The response has been overwhelming, and myself and the rest of the team have had loads of fun thinking up and designing all of the kits and getting them out to you over this past year, and we can't wait to get started again for 2020. As I said at the beginning, if you've got any other questions or suggestions or comments or anything at all, please feel free to get in touch. We're always happy to listen. As I said, you can leave a comment on this video, or you can email us at the shop as well if you want a specific response response to something that you're asking or suggestion, then the girls that monitor the email address will be able to get back to you quickest on that. So the next kit comes out at the beginning of February. Remember, if you want first access to it, you need to sign up to our newsletter, but crucially also make sure that you're opted in to hear about the Sewing Society. If you're not sure, drop us an email and we can always check for you. So yeah, it'll be the first Wednesday of February at midday. We will send you the email link to the kit. So I hope you like what we've chosen for our first project. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, just remember to hit subscribe, and you'll be able to see all of the new videos that I've got planned for you. So I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.